Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Pulse Pods. You're listening to your host, DJ El Pablo. Are you trying to find true meaning to life and living? Then you are at the right place. Welcome to Pulse Pods. Listen and gain something new today. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pulse Pods. You're listening to DJ El Pablo once again, and this is episode 18 titled The Father. And it's a special Father's Day podcast episode to celebrate the fathers all around the world. And I'm glad that you're listening to this. And to every father out there, I just want to appreciate you for all that you do for your children and for your family. Father's Day is celebrated worldwide to recognize the contributions that fathers and father figures make in the lives of their children. It specifically focuses on the roles and responsibilities of fathers in the lives of their children. It is also celebrated on a variety of dates worldwide. Many countries observe this day on the third Sunday of June. As I can remember, I think it is 140 countries that celebrate this day on the third Sunday of June. It is celebrated in Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States on the third Sunday of June. Argentina, France, India, Greece, Ireland, Mexico, Pakistan, Singapore, South Africa, and Venezuela also celebrate this day on the third Sunday of June. In Australia and New Zealand, Father's Day is celebrated on the first Sunday of September, and in Thailand, it is celebrated on the 5th of December, and this is because it is the birthday of the country's king. Brazilian fathers are celebrated on the second Sunday of August. Father's Day in India is relatively new, but it is celebrated in the United Kingdom and in the US on a familiar scale. Father's Day is not a federal holiday in most countries, with exceptions of Thailand, because it is the king's birthday, which is a public holiday. As for other countries, it falls on a Sunday, and public offices are usually closed on that day, as it is today. Also, public transport systems still run their weekend schedules, and restaurants may be busier than usual, so get your bookings in on time if you can. As you can observe, you could observe, lockdowns are relaxing a little bit, so get your bookings on time for those patio settings. For a bit of a background, there are some suggestions or ideas that Father's Day may have been or may have originated in pagan sun worship, as paganism see the father as the son of the universe. The idea of a special day to honor fathers and celebrate fatherhood was introduced from the United States. A woman called Sonora Smart Dodd was inspired by the American Mother's Day celebrations to plan a day to honor fathers. In the USA, Father's Day has been celebrated in June since 1910. The celebrations in the UK and other countries are thought to have inspired the American custom of Father's Day. Now, this is in contrast to Mother's Day, which has been very significant and has a very different history in the US and the UK. You can find some of these info on timedate.com. Anyone can be a father, or anyone can father a child, but being a dad takes a lifetime. Fathers play a very important role in the lives of children or in the lives of their child, be it with the emotional well-being of the child or even in the development. This is not to undermine the roles of mothers or this is not to undermine the roles that mothers have, but this cannot be underestimated or overemphasized. I released an episode some time back last year about dads being heroes, and it was titled "Can Dads Be Heroes?" You can actually listen to that episode and, gain some insight on the roles of fathers. This one would also throw some more light into the roles of fathers. Just like mothers, fathers are pillars in the development of a child's emotional well-being. In fact, I'm going to write a bit of an episode or two on the roles of dads, titled Boys Without Dads. I'm working on it, and I'm sure that it should be fun. Is there any real evidence that dads really have a uniquely important impact in the lives of their children? I released an episode, like I said earlier, Can Dads Be Hero? You can listen and, listen to it where I highlighted more of the roles of dads in the lives of children. Our culture seems to place a little value on the roles of fathers. Also, the term father is not solely referring to a biological relationship. And it doesn't only apply to husband and wife relationships. Fathers are important in financial contribution, support of the family and their partners, loving their partners and children, among so many other roles that they play. Having a father is very important and can significantly influence the child's well-being, and, as I've stated earlier, influences the emotional balance of the child. In a study of married men and women who had just had their first child, it was found that a good partnership was illustrated, as well as an effort to reduce the wife's stress, led to an overall decreased aggravation for both partners, even when their baby is a bit fussy. In families with present fathers, he serves as the role model for all male relationships that the child would encounter. So, the father is the role model for the man on how he's to live his life and face the world. And he's also the role model for the woman or for the female on how she is supposed to approach or deal with the male figures in their lives, be it with workplace or school or any aspect of life whatsoever. Fathers are as important. Children are extremely sensitive and observant. They're very observant beings. When I was in uni, they used to teach us about Aristotle and one of his ideals about the way the brain of a child is like a table. So the word coined, tabula rasa, means flat slate. So the brain of a child is as flat as a slate, clean slate. Anything you put on it or anything you write on it is what stays there. So children are very extremely sensitive. They're extremely sensitive and very observant beings, and therefore it is easy to internalize relational experiences. So the roles and the responsibilities of a father in the family can not be underestimated, as I said earlier. There are 5 major roles, 5 major responsibilities like a father can have in the lives of their children and the family in general. But before I go into these 5, I was listening to a radio show a few hours ago, and the lady was specifically responding to some questions and talking about a book of hers that she wrote about her relationship with her father. And she was very specific about fathers playing very important roles in the lives of their children and how it has affected or shaped the child for the future. Present fathers in the lives of children. In fact, the fact that fathers can be at home has a very positive impact on the lives of children. And she even spoke about research where they found that children with present fathers were less likely to get involved in things like gangs and drugs and stuff, and even having negative relationships in school. And that long-term effect of having friction between children and fathers cannot also be underestimated. So there were so many reports and so many researches. So moving on, there are 5 major responsibilities a father can have in the lives of children and the family in general, and they include responsibility to lead. There's a lot to talk about responsibility of a father to lead, because he is supposed to be the role model for the children and for the family as well. He's supposed to take the lead in everything. I mean, he has a responsibility to also seek God. So it is my ideal that, or my belief that fathers are, even based on what the Bible says, are seen as priests of the household. Later on, I will talk a little bit about the priestly responsibility of fathers, but it is the responsibility of a father to seek God. It is also a responsibility of the father to pray. So he's taking the lead in praying, and he's also responsible for provision, and also finally responsible for protection. So for more info on this 5 responsibilities, you can check authenticmasculinity.com, and you find a lot of information and a lot of research, detailed research on some of these things that I've just mentioned. These days, we see around us a rejection of the natural order between sexes. A calm communication of natural order between the sexes is a responsibility of the father, or of fathers. I mean, we see around us a rejection of humility before God, and an assertion of progressive principles that reject masculinity. The examples of calm and confident humility before God is a responsibility of fathers. The examples of a calm and confident humility before God is a responsibility of fathers. They take the lead role in almost everything that has to do with the home. So I could go on and on and on, but there's a whole lot to talk about fathers, which might be expatiated when we talk about boys without dads. And I might be tempted to do girls without dads as well as a mini-series. But moving on. Dear fathers, it is your responsibility to change these narratives, and to change this, it should start with you. This change must start with you. It starts with the fact that you are responsible for your actions, and your actions will reflect on your children and how it shapes their future to even be better or to even be worse. I mean, think about it. There's a whole lot that we can talk about this. The woman I listened to on the radio says something that sometimes it is good for fathers to see how their reflection through the eyes of their children. That it's very important for fathers to see their reflection through the eyes of their children. So they have a very important role to play in their lives. Now, I believe that you can start now to develop certain good habits and characters with the intention of being a better person and an ideal role model for your family as an intending father. Fathers are primarily responsible for providing for their families, so women can have those kinds of choices. Providing for others so that they can have choices is a fatherly responsibility, or is a father's responsibility. Now, if you listen to episode 17, you would remember that I said that working on yourself to become better starts with a conscious effort to be better by developing the ideal habit, character and attitude towards life and everything in it. Dear fathers, know yourself and seek self-improvement. It is a father's responsibility to improve constantly and consistently. Dear fathers, be technically and tactically proficient. This means you should know your job and do it. Seek responsibility and take responsibility for your actions. Fathers, please seek responsibility. Set an example, be an example, and be the ideal man. Know your wife and children. Look out for their welfare. Keep your wife and children informed on matters that affect them. Ensure that tasks you ask to be done can be understood, supervised, and accomplished. Someone said something, said, "Dear fathers, do not be the coach, be the leader." There's a difference between a leader and a coach. Now, teach your family to work together as a team, dear fathers. Think of it like a company, and your wife is your partner. And all you do, your wife is your partner in all you do, and all you do you all will do things together in harmony and with each other. And your children are like the employees. Where you lead, they follow. So lead well with your partner, holding hands together in every decision that is to be made. Make sound and timely decisions. Make sound and timely decisions. Only ask your wife and children to do what is reasonable. Lastly, be guided by the word of God in everything that you do. A family that prays together stays together. A family that prays together stays together. So does the Bible say. With God at the center of everything, there is no limit as to the height of success and progress you can make with your family. And I'll conclude with this, and I'll say, dear fathers, you are the head, the priest, the king, and that's a huge responsibility. Use it and do it with your wife. To him much is given, much is expected. Happy Father's Day to the kings out there, the priests, the ideal men out there. God bless your heart, and thank you for listening. Share this with any intending father or even a father, your dad, your father figure, your role model. Most of them might have probably forgotten the essence because of the way life and the world is broken these days. So spend time to encourage them, because sometimes they mask up emotions in a bid to stay and remain or appear strong, but inside they are broken. Reach out to an intending father today. God bless your heart, and thank you for listening. See you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to Pulse Pods today. I know that you've learned something valuable to help you with your daily living and finding purpose. Pulse Pods is now on social media. You can send your DMs and your messages to @PulsePods on Twitter, PAULZPODZ, @PulsePods on Twitter. And then you can as well reach me directly on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook as well. For Instagram @DJ El Pablo, and then for Twitter @DJ El Pablo _, and then for Facebook is @Mr. El Pablo. You'll surely find me. Send in your messages, your reviews, your comments, and your suggestions. Thank you for listening, and God bless your heart.